just wondering, Kyrie praised you yesterday, basically apologized for saying he or KD could be the coach. And I'm just wondering, how much input do he and KD have to what is going on? Or is it basically all you and the assistants and D'Antoni and so on?
I mean, thus far, we're trying to, coach the team and implement everything. Now, that doesn't mean we don't confer with them. We don't, seek collaboration, with our players. So we're always looking to collaborate. We're always looking to get an understanding or a feel from the players. So while we've been, the coach has been working hard for months preparing to and our methodology and how to implement it, we do definitely confer with the players constantly. So you have to find that balance. You have to make sure that what your ideas and philosophies are resonate with the players, and make sure that they can fit accordingly together in an appropriate manner. So we constantly want to seek their opinion and their comfort level with things we're implementing.
Next up, we'll go to Alex Schiffer of The Athletic.
Hey, Steve, it hit me yesterday that you're coming into the NBA at a pretty good time for West Coast Conference alums in the coaching ranks. Eric Spoelstra just won the West. Marlon and Lloyd got a good thing going in Atlanta, the San Diego guys. Why do you think the conference you played in produces so many NBA head coaches and good ones at that? And where have you tried to take some stuff from Dick Davey and what you learned from him as you've gone about this job?
Well, clearly it's the best educational conference on the planet, so I think that speaks for itself. But we for whatever reason, San Diego's had a long history of coaches and assistant coaches in the league. There's Spo obviously is one of the best coaches in the game, and Lloyd's an incredibly bright young coach. So it's a source of pride to see so many WCC guys out there. I don't know why. What the nature is of that, but we don't put as many players in the NBA. I guess Gonzaga is starting to put a bunch of players in the league, but we've done our share with the coaches. So it's cool to see, like the basketball community. It's a global sport, but sometimes it can also feel pretty small and like a family. And so it's always fun to kind of see the coaching trees and some of the history of the WCC. As far as Coach Davey, he taught me a tremendous amount about the game, about the way to play, X's and O's, but most importantly, mental toughness, that ability to continually set aside disappointment, frustration, failure, and fight and never, give an inch, no matter how emotionally taxing it can be at times to deal with disturbances. So he taught me a tremendous amount, and really, I think, toughened me up mentally, which was important.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach, how tough is it to really assess a game where A, is just preseason, but B, the other team doesn't play their two best players? Like how difficult is it to assess one, just like, obviously you spoke about not really implementing too much, but what it is that you guys are running, how difficult is it to assess? And then two, just like where your team stands in terms of what you can do when you've got guys like Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal who just didn't play.
Yeah, I think Washington's going to look a lot different when we play them in a few weeks, but there's still plenty to learn from the tape. There's plenty of things that we could implement and have been working at. So it was still a great exercise for us to see us against somebody else, to see how we covered that other team that we weren't familiar with, to see how we ran our offense against them. So there's plenty to see, plenty to work on. So it was an important night for us in that respect. And their guys played hard, and Scotty did a great job. Those guys, they adapted in the second half and came out and competed and made shots and created plays for each other. So it's plenty for us on the first outing, and plenty for us to analyze and implement. So it was really worthwhile.
Next up is Zach Braziller with the New York Post.
Steve, you started DeAndre in the opener. Is that the plan right now, to start him over Jared? And if so, you've talked a lot about defense. Jarrett's a guy who obviously got an all defense vote last year. What would make you kind of decide to start DeAndre over Jarrett?
Well, I think DJ, first of all, has played the entire camp. DJ missed 4 or 5 days there. But I haven't made any hard and fast decisions. I think we have to stay ready and be fluid. Night to night it could change. I haven't made any decisions, but if I'm going to start DJ, it's because he's, had a long history of being a good defender himself. He also is a threat rolling to the basket and sucking in the defense and a vertical threat. So, they're both guys are going to play and both bring similar but slightly different personalities to their profile. So like them both, and both will play a role for the team.
Next up is Tom Dowd with BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, Steve. Brett Brillmeyer has been named Long Island's head coach in the G League. What can you tell us about Brett as far as what he brings to that job and why you like him as the fit for that group of guys?
I think he's a great fit. One, he was an assistant here and I believe in Cleveland prior, so he has lots of NBA coaching experience. He has inside information and knowledge about this organization, so it'll be a seamless fit. He's going to grow as a head coach in that position, which is important for his development and for him to, continue to refine his talents. But for us to be able to have that two-way relationship with Long Island and have Brett, who has NBA experience and inside experience with the Nets, is a great fit. So we're really fortunate that he wanted to take that step and be a head coach at this time and help us develop our two-way guys.
We'll go back to Greg Logan with Newsday.
Steve, can you tell us what Karis LeVert looked like today in practice and just how he's coming back?
He looked great. He played very well, had no pain. So hopefully that's behind us and he can resume full function. And he played very well today.
Back to Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach, can you just talk a little bit about Rhodey and whether you view him more as a player on the developmental side or a guy who can potentially make an impact on this roster this season?
I like Rhodey. I do think he's still more in the developmental bucket, continue to improve his three-point shooting. But he's a versatile athlete, plays hard, has good speed and mobility for a 4 or a 5 even, but can play multiple positions. So he's still a really talented, nice player. But with the depth on our team, I wouldn't want to put too much on it. I think he's still a player that's developing and learning his craft, adapting to the NBA game, developing his shooting, and trying to become a guy that can crack into the rotation. But I think right now he's just working his butt off, playing hard every day, learning, improving his shooting, and he has a future for sure.
Back to Zach Braziller with the New York Post.
Steve, Giannis just signed a contract extension. There's obviously been a lot of talk of him possibly, exploring free agency in this age where you're seeing so many guys leave and create super teams. What are your thoughts on him staying there? Is it good for the league to see a huge star just decide not to go search out a super team and to stick with where he is?
Yeah, I don't really want to comment on other teams, but I think it's great. They've built something great there in Milwaukee. Their fans got to love having the MVP in their building, and they're a team that's, knocking on the door of a championship. So I think it's great for that fan base, and they're going to be an incredible team again.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Steve, you talked about Brett. I don't know if you have any insight to this or not, but with the G League season likely going in a bubble, do you have any idea if Long Island would go to that or stay here? I assume that would affect your two-way players, which is why I asked.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think we're still going to try to figure that out. But I believe the G League, I probably shouldn't talk about this since I'm not that informed with the latest, but I believe the G League is looking at a bubble. So it does cause a different scenario. So we'll see. I don't think I can make any statements or decisions on that yet until we know exactly what it looks like and what we're dealing with. And then we'll start to evaluate how we utilize the G League bubble.